She planned a string of murders all in order to restore the Clarksons to their former glory, right?
Yeah. According to Morgan's story. Matches up with the files, too.
The files that are also Morgan's story.
But the only proof of that is the confession she privately gave to Morgan just before she died. Galena Clarkson was also murdered immediately after she confessed. Don't you think it's all a little too convenient?
Well, story-wise, yeah.
And the sacrifices. None of the FBI's official records contain an example of an actual human sacrifice. Aside from the cases that Francis Zach Morgan handled, that is.
There are tons of examples of animal sacrifice, though. And remember the witch hunts back in the Middle Ages?
Meaning?
Meaning, there are always exceptions to the rule. And Morgan alluded to the existence of some sort of journal, right? I think he said he read it in Professor R's lab. If we could find that, maybe this would all become easier to swallow.
The report didn't mention anything about a journal. And if it truly did exist, it surely would have been submitted as evidence. Unless he tried to cover it up on purpose. Or...
Unless the journal never existed in the first place.
Exactly. This case took place in Le Carré and centered around the Clarksons. Oppressive authority, cross purposes, madness, and love. But Katrina took the truth along with many innocent lives and buried it all at the bottom of the swamp. But there's one truth that can never be washed away. This all started with the death of a young girl.
I missed the Greenvale thing? Are you serious? I'm sorry. That's important to me.
After that,
I'm going back. I'll cut this part, but I'm going back. There's no pause. There's no pause menu for this section of the game.
Why did she believe what Professor R told her?
Okay, no, it let me keep going this time. Weird. Okay.
He was just as...
Alright, we're back.
Anna Graham, the first victim of the Greenvale case. Her body was found hanging from a tree, like a goddess being worshipped in a sanctuary. Meanwhile, Lise Clarkson was found on the bank of a river in an area that had been fashioned into an altar. The person who gruesomely ended the life of that young woman must be brought to justice.
I completely agree. They both still had their whole lives ahead of them.
The Le Carré case and the Greenvale case. According to my investigation, the one key that links both cases is Francis Zach Morgan.
And, you know, all those other similarities you just mentioned. But okay. Oh, hey, there's a look at Simon's head
But if
there.
we look at the cases from his point of view, we see one more connection. The red seeds are also present in both cases. I believed that he was the one who brought them to both towns.
Do you remember how the girls were both murdered before he showed up?
Maybe. No. Never mind.
Also, hang on. Okay. I can buy for Le Carré. No one else saw, like, he theoretically could have planted the red seeds at the altar to be like, look, red seeds. Usha Johnson is still alive. He was at the autopsy scene in Deadly Premonition 1, and he saw York literally take a seed out of Anna's stomach with tweezers, and then showed him, hey, look, there's red seeds all over the place. This case is now under the jurisdiction of the FBI. I didn't think Usha Johnson would be the most important character from Deadly Premonition 1, aside from York, obviously, to be in this game. But ask Usha. He can confirm that the seeds were already there. Anyways, I guess that was the end of that. Let's skip through this part now.
If that would...
Get someone win.
This case took press, but there's one also.
And we're back. Okay, let's look at these things.
The 16-year-old girl who was murdered in Le Carré in 2005. After that, she remained frozen for 14 years, waiting for someone to discover her. I was the one who found her, which means I have a duty to lay her soul to rest.
Wait, what were you investigating if you were the one that found her?
I think she's the biggest mystery out of all the people involved with the Le Carré case. How could she agree to kill her own daughter? Then herself. It's hard to imagine ever being okay with that, no matter how depressed I became.
Well, she says Galena is more mysterious, but Lee seems more important to the case overall, so we're gonna expect Galena first.
Why did she believe what Professor R told her? The whole blood purge story. There's no way anyone in their right mind would ever believe that.
You got a point.
No matter how badly all the bullying must have broken her heart. I just find it too hard to believe. Don't you?
Yeah, but you shouldn't think too hard about it.
Why not?
Human beings don't make sense. We always do things that can't be explained with common logic. Especially when it concerns our parents, children, and siblings.
That doesn't satisfy me. No matter how irrational an action may be, I want to know exactly why that person made such an irrational decision. Otherwise, what hope do we have?
You're never gonna be in a situation where everything makes perfect sense.
A good rule to follow and advice to have in mind when you're playing a SWERY game.
Just stop sticking your nose so deeply into everything. That's my advice, as an old guy who's lived twice as long as you.
You and I are nothing alike. You decided to give up on your life and spend the rest of your time on Earth sitting around and playing Sudoku.
Wait. What do you mean give up on his life? You're both in the FBI! Also, I don't think I mentioned this. I think that picture of Anna is actually from my favorite piece of Deadly Premonition art, which has in fact been my phone background for like the past 5 years. I thought it was fan art, but I think it has also been incorporated into the director's cut art. So it might have started as fan art, and then they were just like, hey, can we make this official? But I also could be wrong. It could have been an official piece of art the entire time. But it is cool that I do think that picture is of the art. I'm going to check that we're recording again because I am a paranoid little boy.
Everyone thinks that the principal thing to the tree is the fruit. But in point of fact, the principal thing to it is the seed. Now I know why Lise Clarkson was murdered first. Lisa's death was Professor R having second thoughts. According to Morgan, her plan was to perform parricide and filicide.
Is parricide? I know patricide is a word. I assume it means the same thing, but I didn't know parricide was a word.
Then commit suicide.
Maybe it just means parent-side.
Those were the 3 deaths necessary to complete the ritual, remember? Which means she technically could have killed Patricia first. That would have been the best way to delay any interference from the Clarksons themselves. The reason she didn't kill Patricia first is because Lena was actually following a different plan inside her own mind. Or perhaps she merely changed her plan as she followed through with it. At some point, new emotions started to take root within her. She had second thoughts about something. And in order to shake those off, she used Galena to kill Lise first, in order to cut off any possible escape. But that only made her plan move ahead quicker than she could have ever imagined.
Which fits in with the, arc words of no one can stop the plan now, not even me.
Which forced her to rush right up to the end with those misgivings always in the back of her mind.
Huh? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you lost me. What are you talking about?
In other words, at some point, Helena Doman decided that she wanted to make Patricia the next heir. The blood purge wasn't for the goddess of fertility. It was for their daughter, Patricia.
Wait, are you saying Helena knew from the start that Sheriff Woods would die with Candy?
That's the only explanation I can think of.
But haven't you also been saying the entire time, I don't believe any of this? How can you be doing, psychological profiling of Lena when you also think Zach made the whole thing up?
Huh.
Remember, this is only assuming that everything
Okay, yeah,
Morgan
alright,
told
good.
us was
Yeah,
true.
bring that up.
Until I can trust that man, this is all nothing more than conjecture.
Considering how insane this all is, it sounds perfectly believable to me.
Also, I was wrong. The seeds are on the back wall, not on the side wall, so that makes a little bit more sense. All right, I'm curious what's next. Ooh, more Hoongan. Okay.
Francis Zach Morgan. Remember me? Oh, cat got your tongue. Understood. You know why I'm here, don't you?
I didn't notice the snake
You
before.
must
That's
know
great.
what this means. To commemorate our reunion, allow me to give you another oracle. The contract, once signed, will last for eternity,
That's the...
but only in the presence of true love. Did you hear that?
Slight nod.
Good. It's been a while since I felt this. You know, there's hardly anyone in this era who can see me like you can. And they've been dropping like flies since you first came to see me.
Interesting.
Breaks my heart.
That's a fake snake.
We don't have much time.
You wouldn't be able to hold its head still for that
Questions for
long.
me?
A good question.
Excellent. You pass. You haven't changed, Francis Zach Morgan. But that question isn't for me to answer. Go and see it with your own eyes. Oh, time's up. We'll have to finish this during our next reunion.
What is that music? I thought Simon was naked for a hot sec. Ah, it's his cell phone. I was gonna say it sounds like an alarm or something.
This is bad.
Failed to apprehend target. Target escaped with hostage. Whereabouts
Agent Jones.
unknown.
What is this referring to?
Avery Smith kidnapped Patricia Clarkson and escaped.
Avery Smith? The vault manager? Why would he kidnap Patricia?
And there's another thing. He's 10 feet tall somehow now.
Tell me what's going on right now.
Well,
Answer me, Jones.
I made a deal with Morgan.
Very on screen. Also, that's great. I could tell Simon there was something up with Simon, and I've thought about maybe it's because this is all right. I should just shut up and actually let them explain it.
Back when he took me to the bathroom.
What? What?
Morgan said something to me. If we want to find Patricia, we need to look at Avery Smith.
Have you lost your mind?
What he said made sense. Ever since 2005, Avery's been working deep inside that cold storage warehouse. He was also arrested in the past for getting too friendly with Lise Clarkson. And after Katrina, he apparently worked on renovating the warehouse for free. What if that allowed him to freely modify the warehouse as he pleased? That would explain why her body remained missing for 14 whole years. Then, I did a little check and found out that he never went back to work after Christmas vacation ended.
So what? Why would you trust him?
I don't. I just decided it was worth investigating, that's all. So, I sent 2 agents to Avery's house without telling anyone.
Why didn't you at least tell Aaliyah, though?
I just called in a favor from an old friend in the New Orleans branch.
No one gave you clearance for that. You think you can just...
But what if Morgan's telling the truth? If he is, we're both gonna look like total clowns.
I like the responsibility of timing my button presses so that it really does sound like they're cutting each other off. Because in video games, that never happens. You'll see a line end in a dash, and then there'll still be a half a second before the next character starts speaking. I am glad I control this.
Clowns who went barging into a former agent's house on completely unfounded suspicions. HQ will have a field day with us. They'll string us up as the two dumbest agents to have ever graced the field. I just wanted to take some precautions. And besides, if he is lying, it's still no skin off our backs, right? If things work out, we'll end up solving a difficult case that's been driving everyone crazy. Imagine that! You and me, just the two of us, solving a case like this. I'll be able to jump ship on this crappy job. And you'll be able to freely investigate all things San Rouge, just like you've always wanted. Besides, you know that Morgan is Director Abraham's favorite. Even if we get into some sort of trouble,
Abraham's
if Morgan
still in
testifies
charge, huh?
to Abrahams for us, we'll totally be in the clear.
He's been in the exact same position for 15 years?
I don't care. This isn't the way things are supposed to be done.
I guess 13.
Well, I'm sorry, but I had no other choice. You were so engrossed in this, and come on, you know how I am. Besides, saving the hostage should take priority above all else. There's no time for squabbling.
That's a really good point.
We need to find Avery Smith, no matter what it takes.
And now they're going to have to work with Zach because Zach is the only one who's going to be smart enough to figure out how to track him down. This is great. I love this.
But how?
Well...
Thanks to your heroic maneuvers, we just lost our suspect.
I know, but...
I know how to find him.
Yeah.
I should be able to see the other world, the way I am now. Just let me go, please.
Morgan?
It's okay, my fairy. I know I can convince them.
Now, where is Zach? Oh, this is great. Poised Aaliyah. T-posing Aaliyah. And frantic Simon. And the budding rat corpse? Oh, it was a rat, not a squirrel. Let's look at everyone and then I gotta pee again.
Definitely not the best thing for them to see right now. If I saw that during an investigation, I wouldn't be able to stay calm and listen to someone either.
Not the mannequin or the doll, the creepy doll thing. It's specifically the rat corpse that's, oh no. That would be too far. Oh, is there like a plant growing in the corpse? Is that what's happening there?
Simon's lost in thought. What will his next move be? Will he follow the plan? Or... Aaliyah Davis. She's on edge, as she should be. Who wouldn't be after seeing this room?
I fully appreciate that he's like, oh yeah, it's kind of bad that they saw this room. This is real bad. I gotta be... Alright, I feel like we can look at the rat corpse first.
I found the first one last autumn. A dead rat with a bud coming up out of its stomach.
Oh wait, if it's
Just
already,
like this
if
one.
on its own there's a bud coming out of its stomach, that's bad. Because things budding out of things' stomachs and Deadly Premonition is bad.
A rat ate a red
Yep.
seed, died, and the bud sprouted. Honestly, it shocked me. Up until this point, I'd only ever seen red seeds, saplings, and big trees. So I decided to grow one of my own.
Oh no, that feels bad.
What are you talking about?
I needed to solve the mystery of the red trees. Why do they exist? But all of my sprouts died without ever growing the tiniest bit. Forget about a big tree. I couldn't even grow a single sap.
Well, Forrest did tell you it takes a very specific strategy, and it's not a fun one.
So you kept experimenting.
2 days after the seed enters a rat, it takes the rat's life.
Wait,
On the third day, a bud sprouts up, then grows to that size after 5 more. I tested this on 137 corpses,
In only a few months?
but I was never able to grow a bud any larger than this size. I still remember what he told me.
yeah.
Apparently, there's a special trick to making these grow.
What was I gonna say? That doesn't quite match up with all of Deadly Premonition 1 because George talks about how the deer ate the red seeds and it made them invincible. So it doesn't make sense that it's killing the rats within a couple of days, but whatever.
You're totally insane.
Yep.
Maybe.
Okay, I hope it's not either one progresses forward, because I would like to talk to both of them, and my gut says talk to Simon first because Aaliyah is the main character. So we're going to take a risk here. I hope this does not progress things because I do want to talk to Aaliyah.
I don't have much time left. I'm pretty sure that's why I can see the other world now. I've lost that sense ever since the Greenvale incident, but it's back now. Please, will you just trust me? Come on, Simon. You'll trust me, won't you?
What?
No, Agent Jones. Remember the warning I gave you at the very beginning? You can't let him take control of the conversation.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I just realized there's a picture of George without a hat on the bulletin board, and that's very off-putting. He looks really weird. Okay, good.
Please, Aaliyah Davis, let me go. This is our case to finish.
No, you aren't an agent anymore.
But you don't know how to find him. Neither of you ever could.
Oh, I'll find him. I swear on my pride as an active agent that I won't give up until I do.
That won't get you anywhere. It's beyond you.
Shut up! You think we can't find him, but you can. Just how stupid do you think we are? If you want us to believe you, then it's about time you showed us some proof.
A lot of time's passed since I last saw Patricia. If I hadn't gone back to Lucare, she probably would have never been kidnapped. I dragged her back into her cursed destiny. Helena Doman, aka Professor R. Her complicated life only added more complications to the Lucare case.
I guess the vicissitudes of fortune just didn't make the cut for the line reading.
She's the one who gave the red tree a chance to take root inside her. A strange man was stalking Lise, and Patricia resembled Lise so much that I once confused them for a moment.
Oh yeah, that's right, he did. I was gonna say, no, I thought just Avery did that, but...
Meaning it would be no surprise if the same man went after Patricia.
In the very first scene with Avery, he reaches out for Patty thinking it's Lise.
Why didn't I think of that until now?
You said that she was the mastermind behind the tragedies in Lucare. That her convictions about the Clarkson bloodline are what started it all.
Yes, that's right.
She instigated her younger sister into killing her own niece. Then she committed suicide immediately after killing her father, hoping that Sheriff Woods would be able to complete her plan. How could one call such an unpredictable series of events a plan? And as we saw, Sheriff Woods chose a fate that was completely different from what she envisioned.
No, he didn't. In the end, things went exactly as she planned.
What do you mean?
At a certain point, she realized that her plan was wrong. So she tried to adjust things, using me as a pawn. But then, the unexpected happened. She and I both underestimated what Avery was capable of. That's why I'm here right now trying to convince you, in order to save Patricia's life.
I will say, I think I am assuming I am now correct that Avery is the 10-foot tall man. In fact, we actually kind of got confirmation of that just now when he was looking at the doll. I didn't expect him to be the final boss, and it seems like that's where we're headed. So that's interesting.
Hey, Belle. Your hypothesis was pretty much on the mark. Last week, I went back to Lucare. Then I bought a used car and got on a train in Trenton. But not for the reason you think. I wasn't stalking Patricia. And I'd never try to kidnap her.
Then why would you go there? Why would you risk so much, especially since you knew that you were under surveillance?
Because, once again, I'm chasing Sang Rouge.
Sang Rouge?
Even after I quit the FBI, I continued to study the red trees on my own. And now, I've come to the conclusion that those red seeds and Sang Rouge both come from the same roots.
Didn't you, like... I forget exactly how the beginning of the game went, but didn't we already figure that? Wait, no, he didn't care about the red seeds when he first came to Le Carré. Because I saved the investigation of the seeds for last, and it turns out that was the wrong thing to do because York didn't care about the seeds.
I also found proof that someone's inherited the original recipe. That's why I flew to Le Carré, to confirm my suspicions. But I was more powerless than I ever could have imagined. I couldn't move like I used to. No badge, no gun. So, after wandering aimlessly around town, I swallowed down my torment and my weakness and left.
That's me trying to do most of the side quests in Deadly Premonition 2.
You expect me to believe that?
I know you've got it in you.
What's that supposed to mean?
You found Lise Clarkson's body. The one thing I never did.
And yet I am currently incredibly confident that I can find the thing that you can't.
And only a few days after discovering the body, you came to visit me. You should be fully capable of discerning that what I'm telling you is the truth.
Talking much about oneself can also be a means to conceal oneself. You can't trick me.